Hey, what's up, guys? So I want to do a short, hopefully short video on a recent email that I received from Twitch regarding DMCA takedowns, what's been happening in regards to that, why there have been so many takedowns recently, and what Twitch is doing in the future to help content creators understand and protect themselves against takedowns. So I want to say, first off, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. And you should definitely talk to an attorney if you need any specific details before dealing with this. I'm going to quickly go over the Digital Millennium Copyright Act here. It's a 1998 United States copyright law. And essentially what it does is it provides legal protection for corporations who are rebroadcasting other people's content from being sued when that content violates the law. So basically, if you upload a video to YouTube and the video has copyright music, Digital Millennium Copyright Act protects YouTube from being sued for having that content on their platform. So starting here, we're not going to go over the whole thing. This is from a blog post, and I'm going to post it down in the description below. You can check it out there if you want to read the full text, but just going over a few sections here. So recent DMCA notifications. How did we get to this moment? Until May of this year, streamers received fewer than 50 music-related DMCA notifications each year on Twitch. 50 a year. Beginning in May, however, representatives for the major record labels started sending thousands of DMCA notifications each week that targeted creators' archives, mostly for snippets of tracks and year-old clips. What I believe is happening is that independent lawyers, independent law firms have realized that they have a revenue model that can be generated from Twitch content creators and other content creators online. They have realized that they can go gather up all these links, all these channels, all these VODs that have copyright music in them, take those to the record agency and say, hey, we have 10,000 cases of fraud against you. Would you like us to file charges on your behalf? And then they can get paid for doing that. So they're now working on behalf. They're working independently to seek to take down far more channels than the Recording Industries Association of America, aka RIA, has ever tried before. I think that there has never been much of a stomach for taking down streamers. That 50 a year, fewer than 50 a year up to this point, really exemplifies that. But because there are thousands taking place each week, either RIA hired 500 new lawyers, or 500 lawyers this year realized that they could make a buck by snatching content creators off the internet and doing takedown requests for them. So I don't know for sure that that's what's happening, but something definitely changed this year that they've made this a larger priority for them than they have in the past. So we were as surprised by the sudden avalanche of notifications as many of you were. We also realized that we need to provide streamers with more educational programs and content management tools to help you deal with this unprecedented number of notifications coming in all at once. It's not Twitch's responsibility for you to understand the laws pertaining to what you do. I understand that some people are young and they've never even considered that some of this stuff may be illegal, but that's why, if you're underage especially, it's your parents' job to kind of guide you and tell you about these sort of things. But generally, a safe rule of thumb, if you don't own it, don't use it. Fair use is a legal defense, but it's not a legal offense, meaning that you can't preemptively claim that something was fair use. You can only use it to argue it in court after a strike or a takedown or a legal challenge has been presented. After you've been sued is when you can claim fair use. That's the only time. Up till that point, it's merely your assumption that the article or item is fair use. And generally you can bet that pretty much everything is copyrighted in some fashion, if not by the blanket copyright acts that just come into place for you creating something. Even your Twitch content is copyrighted. You own the rights to it, and you have the right to do DMCA takedown requests on anybody else who uses your content without your permission. You're not even legally allowed to play video games on stream unless, of course, it says it in the EULA. you can't. You're rebroadcasting somebody else's content without their permission. In most cases, game developers are cool with it because it promotes their game, and that's a good thing. But in some cases, they may not like you, or they may not like the way you represent their content, and so they have a legal right to take your content down if you're playing their game, or have your channel removed if you're producing content using their content and they don't like it. So it's important to know. It's not only music, it's video games, it's pictures, it's anything else that somebody else produced that you're sharing on your stream. You're putting yourself at risk of a DMCA takedown. Does it happen for many things outside music? Probably not, but it does happen, and it can happen, and it has happened. So we analyzed the notifications we received during that period from the end of May through the middle of October. What we found is more than 99% of the notifications were for tracks that streamers were playing in the background of their stream. Obviously, the point of the DMCA is to strike a balance between the interests of rights holders and creators. Because of this, we were compelled to delete VODs and clips that were identified in the notifications. Yeah, we know that. This was what happened back in May. A lot of people had a lot of content taken down, some with no notice, some with 3 days notice. I remember hearing people like Lily Pichu saying that she got an email, oh my God, I have 3 days to delete every clip on my channel, and I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. I didn't get an email. They didn't send me anything. They just deleted hundreds and hundreds of my clips and some of my past broadcasts and my highlights because it had music in it. I got no notice, no warning, no notification, and I think that Twitch may have put themselves at risk for a lawsuit by doing that, unless they have something in place in their terms of service that says that they can delete content at any time for any reason, with or without notice and with or without justification. I think they may have put themselves at risk because some of the content that was deleted could have potentially been legally produced content. They may have received false DMC notifications for some people's content who owned the rights to that content or literally had no legal claim to take it down in the first place. And since they didn't provide an avenue for people to appeal that, they essentially destroyed somebody else's work without legal justification, which I think may put them at a lawsuit, or put them at risk of a lawsuit. However, I don't see a lot of streamers falling into that very niche category, and I can't imagine that a lot of them would go after Twitch in a case like this, but it's worrying that Twitch can do this. I understand that they own the servers and that any content we put on there, if it's illegal, they have the right to delete, but I don't believe we gave them just blanket authorization to delete anything at any time. Maybe we did. And this is one of the important things. You got to read the terms of service. You got to understand what you're getting yourself into. So if you're ever doing something that you feel you want to have a backup of, remember that Twitch can probably at any time, or has proven anyway, that at any time they can just delete your content with or without notice. But it sucked. It sucks that they can do that. And I think that there should be more protections in place for streamers. So hopefully Twitch is addressing that. So how to avoid DMC notifications? I think we all know. Most importantly, don't play recorded music in your stream unless you own all the rights in the music or you have the permission from the necessary rights holders. As I alluded to earlier, there are some cases where people might have the rights to the music and Twitch deleted it anyway, which is why I think that they may have put themselves at risk here. But ultimately, if you're storing illegal content on their platform, Twitch has a right and a legal obligation to delete that. So if you do want to include recorded music in your stream, use a fully licensed alternative like Soundtrack by Twitch or other rights-cleared music libraries such as Soundstripe, Monstercat Gold, Chillhop, Epidemic Sound, or NCS. I guess there were a lot of legal issues that came up around Soundtrack by Twitch earlier this year as well. People were saying that Twitch didn't own the rights to the music and that they were getting takedown requests and stuff like that. Essentially, when I looked into this, what I found was that Soundtrack by Twitch, the music is only licensed to be played on Twitch. It's not licensed to be played anywhere else. So if you rebroadcast that on YouTube, it could be taken down. If you took that VOD and posted it on Mixer, it could be taken down on Twitch, I guess, or at least on YouTube, because that music was only legally allowed to be played on Twitch. So there were some confusing rights issues there around Soundtrack by Twitch, but from what I understand, it's completely fine to be played on Twitch now. You have legal protection right here because it's in writing. They said you could. I don't know if this is a legally binding document, but hey, they literally said it. You could take this to court and say, hey, you can't delete my music. You owe me money. While we haven't received more than a handful of DMCA notifications targeting in-game music, if you're playing games with recorded music in them, we recommend you review their end user license agreements to see how the terms cover streaming with that music. I haven't received more than a handful of requests, so chances are if you're playing music that's in a game, you're probably not going to get taken down. Probably. You're probably safe to still do that. You can't legally do that, but you're probably safe to still do that. So if you're worried about in-game music, stop worrying. It doesn't sound like they get many requests for that. So what is Twitch planning from the future? Better audio deletion in VODs and clips. It sounds like they are planning on having some of that audio stripping technology come through. Split audio tracks on video playback. So what they're talking about with this tool, essentially it's what you can do in OBS. You can use a digital or virtual audio cable and route audio into OBS that only gets played outstream, or you can route audio from your computer to a separate audio output device than your desktop audio, which will allow you to hear music and nobody on stream to hear your music. So third, we need to be able to give you the ability to actually review your allegedly infringing content when you receive a DMCA notification. That's something that I was mentioning earlier. Twitch has to have a system in place where you can counterclaim that your content is not infringing, which I feel is almost a legal obligation as a part of the DMCA law. So Twitch is saying it's possible that in the future they will license music from the record industries and provide a blanket license for you to play music on stream for a fee or an increased cost. What Twitch really needs to do is get a licensing agreement set up with RIA where they can do this. But there's no existing models for it. All their licensing agreements have been to radio stations or to TV stations and stuff like that. So they've never done this before, and the likelihood of that happening is kind of nil because the recording agencies don't have anything to gain really by, I mean, the amount of people that would buy the subscription wouldn't necessarily cover the costs of them going through the process and the headache of setting all this up. So they may not ever go this way, but it would be cool to see them do that. Some of my concerns with these takedown requests, though, is that by content creators becoming the target of major corporations who have millions of dollars, we really are creating a slippery slope when it comes to this. Because in the same way that music rights holders are now seeking to shut down channels that don't have the rights to their music, game companies could be eventually seeking the same sort of financial models that are found in the future in recording agencies. If the record industry sets up a system that allows their music to be played on Twitch for a $20 or $40 or $100 a month licensing fee, it's possible that for AAA titles, they'll say, hey, if you want to play Cyberpunk 2077 on stream, it's going to cost you $50. Or, hey, if you want to play Animal Crossing, it's going to cost you $20. Or, hey, you know, it could potentially lead to that because it falls under the same legal protections that music does. You can't play games on stream. You can't play music on stream. If music companies are coming after us, it's possible game companies could come after us too in the future. So we don't know what doors this is opening. And I hate the slippery slope as an argument, but it's possible in this situation. It also opens the doors for Twitch to lower revenue payouts. Like I said earlier, getting only 50% of your income or really less for what people pay you is already ridiculous. But if Twitch implements the model the way they described it in this blog post, they would actually be taking a percentage cut of all the bits and revenue from streamers and using that to fund the licensing agreement with RIA. That would affect everybody. Even people who don't use music on stream, even people who don't want to use music on stream, it would affect you. So I don't even know why Twitch is even considering that or why they put it that way. And here, hopefully they reconsider that. Hopefully they hear this video. One other concern I have here too is on the Twitch DMCA takedown page. This is where you can contact to do a DMCA takedown. So if you as a streamer have content out there that's being rebroadcast against your will, you can come to this page. It's legal DMCA guy. You can find it. I'm sure Google works, but you can email DMCA at twitch.tv and request a takedown as long as you include the appropriate information. But one of my problems that I have with this, it says right down here after some other words that they can do this whether or not there's any repeat infringement. What that means is even if it's your first takedown request against your channel, if Twitch deems you to be a repeat offender or a repeat infringer, even if you're not being reported as a repeat infringer, they can take your channel down, which is why some people have literally just been taken down on the first attempt, on the first claim. And it's your responsibility now, and you really should get on this, to take down any content you have that has music in it. And I know that sucks. You might download it all to your computer and try to save what you want, but you're going to have to take it down. It's a numbers game at this point. They're doing 52,000 takedown requests a year. There are probably 500,000 streamers who play copyright music on their stream, which means we've got less than 10 years until all the music's taken down. And if you wait a couple of years till you're one of the last few, they're probably not going to be as forgiving anymore because you've had years to figure it out. So this is what this video is for. It's to help you understand what's going to be happening, because Twitch is going to be going through and taking down a lot of channels' content. This is how it differs than last time. I've always been a staunch defender of playing life by ear and living on the edge, but I've done it for 4 years. I've played copyright music on my stream. I've seen these past takedown requests. I've seen how they've gone down and how many people were affected by them, and they've never been a concern to me until now. It's actually a concern because there are these independent organizations or the record labels themselves that are actively seeking to take down every single piece of content that has any sort of recorded music in it. If you liked this video, if it helped you at all, make sure to subscribe. And if you want more information on streaming related stuff like this, I'm happy to talk about it. But yeah, generally, end of the day, don't play copyright music on your stream. Delete any VODs that you have. Delete any clips that you have that have copyright music, because essentially Twitch could take you down the first time. If they come to your channel and say, oh my God, this person has done this 150,000 times, we know that there's probably going to be more claims against the account, and clearly they haven't deleted it on their own, we're going to just delete your channel. Sorry. Twitch doesn't want to get sued, and this is what they're doing to protect themselves. This is what companies have been doing to protect themselves for decades. So it is what it is. It's never changed. There's not any new laws that have come out. This isn't some sudden shift in the legal landscape of streaming on Twitch. It's just merely an enforcement of existing laws finally being taken into place. So yeah, I hope that helps, and I hope y'all have a great day, and like and subscribe this. Goodbye.